I'm setting up my frag tank, quarantine tank and frag tank, but today I'm just doing the frag tank right here. I've got my saltwater premix already done in this big bad boy tank, and got an extra line running off of here. So I've got the pump just to circulate to mix the salt and all that kind of good stuff, and then down here I've got a tee off to run saltwater. So I'm going to just open this valve up. We've got a heater in there, it's not plugged in yet, but crank this valve open up here, and we're filling this tank. Haven't done a leak test on this yet, but we will find out shortly. Hopefully nothing happens. But got to get this live rock down here on the floor. I've got some that I'm going to use to put in the sump. This tank has got it's custom made, and just got a small section here in the middle that I'm going to use to put live rock in there. I've got a BioPure filter cube that I'm going to cut to fit into the overflow, and then the back side I'm going to use BioPure the balls or whatever. So we're going to fill this up, and then once this gets to the point that it starts overflowing into the chamber, we should be able to get this rock in once I get it up to temperature. So we'll come back and we'll shoot another video for that and we'll get back to it. Okay, so I've got the block in there now. Got the overflow is pouring right onto that bad boy. So you can sort of see how I've got this going. I've got the Marine Pure that goes into the live rock, and then I'm going to put more Marine Pure bio balls on that side, which I have a box of right down there. So I'll rinse those out, fill those in, a little power head on one side, and this is going to be my frag tank, and then this is going to be the quarantine tank underneath for the fish. So I just filled this up from my mixing tank. This is my saltwater mixing tank for the main tank. Just got a tee off of here as well, which I just showed you already, and filled it up from there. So got a power switch for that, turn on that pump, get that mixing. I'm sure we showed you all this stuff before. This is my RODI over here, and that feeds into my ATO tank. Need to fill that up again, but I usually get that down to at least way below half before I run it, just so the RO doesn't just run small amounts, it just pours through and fills her up. So that's where we're at right now. And what I'm going to add into this to get this kickstarted a little bit is some Aquaforest Bio, just to that's the nitrifying bacteria, so that'll help kickstart this tank just a little bit. And this thing's only gallons we got here anyway. Pulled the fit out of this is a 50. I pulled it really down to 35, so 15. So this whole system here is 15 gallons. The one underneath I believe is 25 or close to 30. So I'm just going to put a few drops. Realistically it says 1 drop per 27 gallons, so I need a drop max, and that'll be plenty for this thing. Let me just get that set up here. I'm one-handing it here, so bear with me. It's clear liquid. I put this stuff in the main tank every once in a while too, just after adding fish and whatnot. So literally, that is all I need. I'm going to give it one more. There's nobody in here, so we'll help that kickstart the tank, get the coral frag tank going. And you know what? Realistically, I might use this as quarantine for the fish too, just to sort of look at them before I set this one up. Because the thought of 3 tanks scares me. But we'll probably do. Won't medicate in here because we don't want to have that, but might just put the fish in here just to make sure that they're okay before I take them to the big tank. Got the heater going, temperature's already up to 77. Just got to check salinity now that the temperature's changed. So anyhow, that's the quarantine so far, and we're moving along. See you in a bit. As far as the lighting goes, I'm sure you guys are wondering. I've got a Kessel A160 WE tuna blue. So I'm gonna mount. I'm guessing that it's gonna be big enough. or bright enough I should say, I'm going to be suspending it somehow from this top shelf that I put in up here. So I got quite a spread. I can lower that down to whatever. I'm going to assume that it's going to be powerful enough. We'll check it out. We'll see how she goes. I'll get that up there as well. Okay, so I've mounted the light now. It's right above the tank. Got it suspended from this little IKEA shelf. Thing works great. Hooks are kind of useless. The shelf is what I wanted. This way I can put a few things up here as well. Maybe I can hang. The good thing is I'll be able to hang nets and brushes and whatever from these. I'm going to put a little table here above the canister filter. So got the little Kessel 160 and tunable and everything, which is kind of cool. You can jack it up pretty bright. I mean, go to the blues, go to the whites. So I mean, I'm assuming that is going to be plenty bright for these frags that I'm going to put in here. Or who knows, this might be fish swimming around here first. Use it as my quarantine tank for now until I get enough frags off the main display to actually mount in here. I mean, I got the fish quarantine. I might use this as a hospital tank instead. Got a cheapy this little light here, just a $60 light. I don't know the name offhand. I can post that on the... I'll write it in the screen when I know the name. Just a little LED. I mean, it's going to use like next to no power at all. So it's just enough for the fish to have some light. Put those on timers. Little canister filter. The aqua top. That's going to be for the fish. And then I've got my sump going. I've already mentioned that. But got the marine pure biofilter media in there as well. I'm going to get a little carbon once I need it. Thermometer, of course. I want to make sure that thing doesn't fail, because they do a lot. I also noticed that this thing had a little bit of just a little bit of seepage there, so I cut the cup on there just in case it gives way and sprays all over the light. Hopefully not. So yeah, so that's the QT. Got all the wires, all got different power sources all over the place in this room, because I mean, obviously needed it for these tanks. Mixing tank. Should fire that up actually. Got up some more salt in there. And it's a little loop for itself, just mixing the salt. Have this tube here for my salt water, or if I needed to, I could just run RO water in there and drain a little bit off. I'm gonna actually put another pump in this that I can just flip a switch to top up the QT tanks with. This is my ATO for the main display, which I'm sure you guys have seen before, but it's on a float switch from the Apex in the main tank. You can get some more water in there, and that's my RO, which you've seen. Yeah, so that's the QT for now. We'll move along here as we go. It's been a while. I should have set this up a long time ago, but I didn't. So, oh, you love that right beside the water. Sure, Code would love that. But I'm going to, my plumber anyway, I'm going to hang a sheet or something over that, or a towel, or I may even just put a board and box that in, just to be sure. But my plumber guy was telling me about how he's been in houses before and he's had leaks. Like, I mean, realistically, we're in the house here and you got pipes everywhere, all above this. He said he's seen water run straight down, right through these things with no problems, and the power just keeps going. So a little bit of splashing. I mean, we're not going to get much from this because this is going to be coral, but if I do go fishing here, I'm going to have to definitely get a top for this. I might just do the whole thing like I've done with this. That's what that other light is. It's a Reno LED fixture, Aquatic Life, so it's nothing too exciting. But you know what? Perfect for the fish, low power, no light bulb changing, any kind of stuff. My local fish store guy, so he's got them on his fish tanks, and he's had some of them on there for 5-6 years without any issues. So there we are. Rack is done in the tank. So there's the different levels for the intensity. You can acclimate them as they come up. That's it. It's all sitting nice and even, level. Looks cool, looks clean. If I have fish in there swimming around, they'll be able to go in behind, you'll be able to see them. They won't be all blocked out. So that's that. I have ordered a little in-sump protein skimmer for over there. And that little unit will fit either in that chamber or into that chamber. And also picked up the controller for the light. I was going to wire the Kessel into my Apex, but it is about 35 feet away in the other room on the main tank, so I just went ahead and got the controller. And it worked out to be cheaper. I'm just going to check the lights up here a bit. But this thing's great, pretty easy. Not a difficult thing to use at all. Didn't even look at the manual, just started playing around with it. Just change it over, get the light up just so the video shoots a little bit better. So yeah, so got that wired up, tied it in, plugged her over, got the wire across, hanging on the tank. Got the frag racks in, as you've already seen, and put a couple frags in there. Tank's been going for a week and a half or so. Used rock from, it was already cured, live rock. The levels are all good in there. So these are kind of guinea pigs. As you can see, there's some GSP in there, which is, you know what? That stuff will grow on anything. I picked up this little piece of bird's nest snapped off the other one in transport, so we'll see what happens with that guy. And there's a little acro back there. So got 3 just to try and test them out, just to see how it's going. And evap is pretty good on this. So I've cut another piece of acrylic and I just put a topper on this just to try and slow the evaporation a little bit until I get my dosing pump. Got a little dosing pump, cheap one. I'm gonna, instead of running an ATO with a float switch and another line and another pump and all that jazz, I'm just gonna dose it basically, because the tank for the ATO is right here. So I'm just gonna drill a little hole in this, run a line down to the bottom or midway or whatever, and just fish it across all the electrical work, you know, because that's where you want your water. I might wrap it around a couple times, why not? Just because that'll be funny. And then bring it in and then just set up the doser, maybe mount it on the wall here or something like that so the draw is easy. And then pump it up and in. And just set it up for probably, you know, well, find the balance, but maybe it's 10 mils 3 times a day or 50 mils or whatever it is. But that'll be easy. So then I won't have to think about this one as well. Trying to keep the maintenance down, of course. So there she goes. That's the frag tank. This guy down there is next. That's going to be the quarantine slash hospital tank slash I don't know yet. But let me know what you think of the frag racks. You never know. Maybe I'll start making those and sell them, because I tried to find them online here in Canada anyway, and there's nothing that great. I mean, you can get them, but you'll never get them customized to your tank. So who knows? Maybe if anybody requests, maybe I'll start making those and fire them out. They're not easy to make, but you know, just need a laser cutter. That'd be the ideal thing. Anyhow, talk to you soon. Cheers.